Hello and hi everybody. Welcome back to Creative Flavor Cottagecore. This is a Wolfie here. Thank you so much for stopping by. Now, the reason we're back here in Zured, that's the name of this village here, is showing this off. You might be wondering, hey, wait a minute. We've seen all this before. We've been here before. None of this is new. Well, that is true. None of it is new at all. But I wanted to show that it was still here. And the reason I wanted to show it was still here is because the workshop in the cottage is done. That's right. I went ahead and recreated all these machines and didn't move them. I had to make everything twice. But the reason for that was pretty simple. I like the idea that this here is, well, still here. We fundamentally change the world every time we break a block or break down a tree or do anything in the world whatsoever. And that tells the story of the world a little bit. And I like the idea of this being here. Plus, honestly, I visit here a lot. So much, in fact, I don't think I'm actually going to corral any animals at the cottage. I utilize these farms, as you can see, there's like one red sheep back there, quite often. Because the waystone from here to the cottage is within 1,000 blocks, and so transport is free. It's free, so why not come back here? So yeah, why don't we go over to the cottage, because I have a lot of things to show you that I did between episodes. As you can see, I got a couple of diamond picks here in my inventory as well, so yeah. Let's go look at what I've done in the cottage, and you can tell I'm excited because there's a lot of things that we can cover now. The very first thing to show off is the house is looking pretty good. At least from this side. We're not going to talk about the other sides. We will do the other sides. But yeah, the other sides are a little rough. We're not thinking about that right this second here. But yeah, I really love the way that this all looks. It's very overgrown, but very colorful. The green really helps break up everything. Maybe too many vines, but I kind of like it. I kind of like the overgrown kind of nature that this has gone on. And keeping the samey colors here with these color palette just helps everything stand out a lot more. I really love it. Also a bit of terraforming here on the outside. You can see some barley has been replanted and a little bit of a pathway has been made as well. So that's all looking fantastic. But we also have our first external structure. Now this is what I was talking about adding depth to the outside. Let's swim on over here across the way to the build. Because the build itself, if you remember from episode 2, is very flat. But things like this help add a lot to it. And like I said, we're not going to talk about the overgrowth here. I need to go through with string and fix all that because that is, yeah, it's a little too overgrown even for me. Also, I need some stuff up here on the side to help break up this orange blob. But the primary focus is this right here. This water wheel is in this kind of like boulder kind of structure, this kind of outside area here. It adds a lot of depth that the wall would lack otherwise, because again, it was completely flat before. And I really like the way that this comes out, because you got the water wheel kind of slowly peeking out through the side here, and you can, you know, it's visually interesting. You know, it gives you a little something to look at on this side of the house. So yeah, I really love how this came out. And this water wheel powers the workshop. So let's move over to the workshop and I'll show you what that looks like. So here we are inside of the cottage now. This is the workshop that I've got built thus far, and you can see where our water wheel power is coming in from right here. We got to talk about this for a little bit because this is finally getting to the meat and potatoes of what I wanted to actually do with this series. This is kind of the crucible of what I was talking about here, because we want to have create machines. We want to utilize power sources like water wheels to make things, but we also want to have kind of like this home feel to it, right? So what this machine is a very clean way of having us be integral to the process of it. You see, this belt-fed power system here with a hand crank allows us to move this redstone block, which the redstone block just plays a sound for each one of these note blocks to let me know if I'm actually on a machine, if I'm actually powering something. But this right here, this gearbox, goes into this main gearbox line and it hooks up to each one of the machines and individually gets them to move. So we can see this isn't moving. We move this over a little bit. Oh, I'm going the wrong way, aren't I? I'm going the wrong way. There we go. Bam. Now we have the millstone operational. We do it again. Hear the sound. And now we have fan blowing. I'm going to put water in here. I haven't waterlogged it just yet. I haven't needed to wash anything just yet, but the water will actually hang out in here, throw our items on top of the deployer the depot there, and everything will be functioning just fine. And then we go a little bit further down. Oop, didn't need a sound, got a sound. Now the mixer is working. And so this is kind of what I was talking about for this series. This is a very quaint little machine. It's still not going to be like hand operated. I'm not going to be activating a hand crank for every one of these machines because That would be absolutely ridiculous. Why would we do that? It just defeats the purpose of having create there. But I'm still involved in the process. I'm still very much integral to getting each one of these devices to operate. I could feed this millstone, by hand for every single block that I want to have crushed down, but that doesn't make a lot of sense. Let's take advantage of the strengths that Create brings to the table and utilize the machines in a different and fun way that isn't as automated as putting this all on a belt drive system and having everything broken down for you. This is kind of what we're going to be shooting for. And I like that this whole setup is on a gantry, a hand crank gantry, that I can move this back and forth. And I just love the way that this feels. This is exactly what I was excited to start getting into and start trying. And this isn't obviously an efficient machine by any stretch of the imagination. There's 1,000+ ways that you could do this a lot better. A lot of other series cover better ways of doing all of this work. But I like the idea of living in a world where I got to do these things here, and I'm necessary to the operation of every single thing. So that's why we have it the way it is, or the way it is. But that's not all. Enchanted items. Diamond picks. Well, you don't need to see the mine. I mean, I can show you the mine, but there's nothing to show. It's not decorative. We'll make it decorative maybe someday in the future. But we got an enchanting setup. So let's pop up upstairs. And as soon as you come up the ladder, you turn around. Haha! It's the only part of the second floor that I actually have decorated. But look how well decorated this is. Look at this cozy little nook. We got a pie here from the cozy mod right here on the side. Actually, can eat a little chunk of it right now. Oh. I was kind of hoping it would take this piece, but yeah, we got a little piece there. Some empty wine bottles, because, gonna have a little bit of drinking here and there when you're doing some enchanting, some light reading. And this is a nice little comfy reading nook. We got our lapis over here. We got some enchanted books we found in our travels over here. And we can go ahead and enchant all of our items here. Now, nothing too crazy yet. I've only got a fortune pick. I do have a silk touch pick as well. But yeah, I haven't gotten too lucky on enchants. I haven't enchanted any gear yet. But I got an anvil in case I need it. This clock just for the ambient noise. I love the sound that it generates. And yeah, this is so far the first station in the house. I would love to get a brewing setup here on this side, or maybe right over here. So I've got the pufferfish here and the nether wart here, but we got to go to the nether. And so that's the next thing that we have to do, because I have yet to go to the nether. We need to go to the nether. I have desperate need for all of the things like brass and all that, all the upgrades, so I can start working on some other devices and figuring out how the other things are going to go. So that's going to be our nature walk for today, journey into the nether. But we're also going to show you a few things that I didn't show you from last episode that I found, including a workshop, which is really cool. So I'm going to show you that footage, and then we're going to transition to a little bit of nether walking, and then we'll come back here. And I'm thinking we're going to build something outside, but I'll leave that until we return. All right. For my boat ride, I came across a sunken ship, another one. It's like the third one I found on this trip. But then, on top of that, there was these swordfish that were completely like just bones. No skin, no muscle, just bones. And they had drowned right in back them, which was scary. I didn't want to mess with those. I didn't want to get anywhere near that one. But it is interesting because I do need a source of bone meal. And perhaps maybe I can make some sort of farm out of this. There's a possibility down the line. And then I came across the world's smallest mycelium island, the mushroom island. This thing is abysmally small, but mobs can't spawn on it. So hey, you know what? Maybe that'll be useful somewhere down the line. Came across a field of clovers, and I know that there's some sort of like lucky potion that you can brew with these, so I made sure to note that. Slept on the beach and then traveled quite a ways until I saw something very interesting off in the distance. Something that rendered a little earlier than everything else. Huh? No, it couldn't be. Would it be? It is! It is! During my testing of the pack, I found a workshop which has an incredible selection of items inside of it. So that's why I was so excited, as I knew what this structure was, but I chose not to start in that seed because I kind of wanted to go through the motions early game, and it was just too much of a jump start. But now that I found one out in the wild, I was stoked. Wait, I heard a voice. Is there a tinkerer in this one? Hold on a second. The one I found at spawn wasn't an actual tinkerer? How'd you get here? Hello? Goldsmith. Oh. There's just like a place chilling next to this. Oh, this basement is deceptively loaded with supplies. There are gears, there are cogs, there are devices all over the place. And down below, there is even something better, because I took out aging spawners, which kind of throws off the balance of the pack a little bit. But honestly, I want to make something that has spawners in it, and I kind of want it to last. I don't want to have to keep replacing it with like cartridges of monsters and have to find them and transport them and all of that. So it's going to be something that is in the future going to be very helpful for long-term longevity. And needing bones, hey, you know, I just said it earlier, this is going to be probably end up being the solution rather than the fish. Placed the waystone and then decided to check out the structure that I wasn't actually familiar with right next to the workshop. Turns out it was a hunter's lodge, which has a bunch of pillagers inside of it. Pretty dangerous. Didn't really feel like messing with the structure, like poking holes in it. I think I poked like one hole and looted one chest out of it, but I kind of left it alone. Didn't really see something that was too attractive or necessary to have right this moment, so just kind of left it be. Near the hunter's cabin, I came across a baby bluebird, which was absolutely adorable, so here's some footage of that. Baby, 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 baby. People have yeah. Then moving further into the wilds, I came across a net hill. That looks weird. Okay. Oh. Then an abandoned camp, which had some create items in it. Any bad guys? No. Just a saw chilling out here for free. Then from the blessings of serendipity, I decided that I was going to use that saw to gather a couple of pieces of jungle wood, just so I had it back home. Saw some monkeys, and then I also saw a gorilla. And yeah, you know, I decided to keep my distance. I don't know if offensive is the right word or aggressive, but perhaps defensive might be a better word. Wasn't sure if they were, didn't want to test it. Came across it in Wizard's Tower, didn't have anything too amazing in it, but you know, it's another feather in the cap, another achievement in the bin. Hello. Ooh. Came across an abandoned farmstead, which was absolutely adorable. I found it very cute. And then beyond that, came across this cute little anteater. I need to figure out how to get some of these animals home. I am going to have a pen full of these things. Not necessarily anteaters, just these cute, adorable animals that you just can't get in vanilla Minecraft. Eventually, I came across a mesa, which was fantastic because this opens up so many possibilities for color and terracotta. And a trading station, which had a waystone, which is how I got back home. Now we begin the nether leg of our hike. This is the part in the video where you hear, I hate the nether and I never want to go. But in reality, that's completely different from me. I'm a nether-bound hound. I absolutely adore the nether when it's vanilla. Modded nether scares me so much because it's like someone rearranged all the furniture in your house. Nothing looks like it's supposed to, and it's got this sense for me that just kind of gets into my skin. On the upside, there was a nether fortress literally a stone's throw away from the portal. The only way to beat that is to literally have the portal be inside of a nether fortress, so that was fantastic. Unfortunately, I forgot lumber, so I didn't have what I needed to get through the fortress, so I had to turn around and go back, and then come back into the nether one more time before I was able to get into it. Making my way inside, I was able to put up a couple bumpers for wither skeletons. They were making me a little bit nervous because I had seen random enchants in some of the mobs before, so my worst fears could be like anything that increases their power, or anything that increases their durability, or anything that increases their speed. Really, any increase on a wither skeleton with the kind of paper armor that I've got on is a bit of a concern. As you saw along the way, I picked up my first blaze burner and got a hold of bronze, which is going to be fantastic, but I also wanted a couple more blaze rods because I want to get some brewing action going on. So I went diving a little bit deeper into the nether fortress. Here we see a wither skeleton with strength 2, which would completely wreck me. Thank goodness for putting up the bumpers. And then I finally found a couple other blazes that I was able to get some rods from, and then it was able to leave the nether at that point because there really wasn't much else that I needed to accomplish right this moment. So we have survived our harrowing nether adventure. Like I said, I do absolutely love the nether normally, but modded nether terrifies me because the gear I'm wearing, this is not the gear that you want to be facing a lot of those things in there, especially with something rocks up with strength 2 and protection 4 on an enchanted mob. Just not a good time to have. But now that we come back, we have brass. So you might be thinking, what invention are we going to be creating? What thing are we going to be utilizing that takes brass and takes it to the next level? Oh, that poor squid in the background. No, well, wouldn't you like to know? Ah, that's why you asked, isn't it? That's why you want to know. Well, we are going to be making a wheat farm. That's right, you heard me correctly, a wheat farm. Because if we take a moment to look, this is the wheat farm that we've been working with. That's it. Everything that I've built thus far has worked off of this wheat farm. And that's just not going to last anymore. It's not going to handle it. So what we're going to do instead is we're going to make our own wheat farm, which is going to be much nicer and much larger too. And as where to put it, well, I'm thinking back up here on top of this hill. So let me clear out the field and then we'll come back in. So we've cleared out some space here, and there isn't much to show just yet, but I just want to kind of give you a scale of what we're going to be going for, because we're going to be farming all of our crops right in this area. The field is all tilled and ready to go, with a few other changes to show you along the way. I will reveal those very shortly. But first, let's talk about how we get these things to meet in the middle. How is it that we're going to be using Create and be using it by hand, the farm by hand, in order to meet in the middle? Well, what I'm thinking, we do something that's classic Minecraft. We make a wheelbarrow. We make one of these. Now, these are purely decorative items when you have them in Minecraft. They don't do anything, they don't help in any way, but they are cute to have around a farm. They're just nice little designs. And I've seen both, and out of the two, I think I actually prefer the composter because it has some functionality of being able to compost some of the additional stuff around. But what if they could move? What if they could help us? What if they could assist us? You're probably thinking harvesters, but we're not going to be using a harvester. At least not on the first one. We will break down and use a harvester a little bit later on. Well, no, not even a little bit later. Alternatively, we'll be using a harvester. But you'll see what I mean here in a second. Let's go up top and take a look at what I've got planned. Freshly tilled soil. Perfect farmland ready to go. Now, the plan here is very simple. We're going to be using a minecart contraption in order to bring our wheelbarrow to life. And the wheelbarrow's already been built. So this one right here is a wheelbarrow. Let me show you the design that I came up with. It's a little tall, as you can see, but I'll explain why it's so tall here in just a second. So we have a couple of sticks, because I wanted something that wasn't a whole block, so you couldn't see it through the farmland, or at least very easily. And then we have a portable storage interface. This is also known as a kissy kissy. If you watch a lot of Minecraft YouTube, you get the reference for that one. This here will allow us to take whatever inventory this contraption ends up having, which shouldn't actually ever be anything, but puts it in this barrel, this chest here, which will allow it to take everything and put it out of it. And then we just have a simple grindstone in front. We're not actually using a harvester on this. So let me pick this back up here and I'll show you where this is going to actually go. It is going to be utilized in this field, but we take a trip down here. We can see the rail line that's been lined up. And now you see why it's so tall. It's tall enough to where it'll sit flush with the farmland up there on top. So this right here is the rail line in which lazily the wheelbarrow will travel along, and it has powered rails every 16 blocks that are waterlogged. So a powered rail typically travels 38 blocks before you need to refresh it. And that's a lot. You can get a lot of distance covered with it. It's very efficient. Of course, though, in true Wolfa fashion, we're being as efficient as possible here. We're waterlogging them and slowing it down to 16 blocks. The reason for that is because we want a nice lazy progression. We want it to have some forward momentum, but not too much forward momentum. We're not looking for speed. We're looking for consistency. And so we're going to consistently and lazily move down, and that's why they're all waterlogged. And this pattern is very specific. The reason they're offset like this is because if I had a waterlogged rail here and a waterlogged rail here, they would waterlog this one here in the middle, and it would become a mess. So it's just better for them all to be offset like this. Very intentional design, but it's very nice. So if we come over here, you can see there's a rail switcher, which this is what we need brass for. We needed to make a couple of redstone links. We have a stereo track over here. Whatever could go over there. Well, I'll show you here in just a bit. But first, this is where the manual one sits. And that kind of gives it away if you're really listening to what I just said. The manual. And look at this design. Isn't this cute? Isn't this quaint? So this button will activate it and send it off on its way. And this is, like I said, a by hand option. So if we get seeds in our hand, we line up our line up there. There we go. We're planting away. And we can plant as much as we want. We can actually just look straight down. But, you know, I like the idea that there's this little window that we can kind of see what we're doing. And when the crops are fully grown, we can actually right-click on them to harvest them as well. So we can utilize this whenever we feel like getting our hands dirty to just lazily move about the field and collect all of our crops and everything like that. So that's why this doesn't have a harvester on it. It's a little bit more by hand operation, a little bit quaint. Oh, I missed a spot over there. I missed a couple spots. Not perfect, but, you know, it's nice enough. And as you can see, the pace is very steady, very consistent, very casual. And that's because the waterlogged rails every 16 blocks is just the right amount to get us this kind of lazy movement. So I'm going to go ahead and get the other device, because there's two devices. And we're going to show you what other plans I have. And don't worry about that zombie. He's on the other side of a wall that I just have on the other side of a cave. All right. And a quick interruption to myself. You can see it lazily, slowly comes back in after its field full trip. And it parks right there, ready for the next use. All right, now to the next one. For demonstration purposes, I went ahead and planted the field and also made a modification over here because I forgot I wanted to grow rice and you need to do that in water. So we'll have rice over here. You can still right click on it and harvest it here. I think I can show you, yeah, fairly easily. And I should pick that up while driving around. Now, let's talk harvesters for just a moment. Harvesters here are an item that will farm things that are already grown for you. And I went ahead and periodically bone mealed a few of these things randomly so we can use this for demonstration. But the harvester will plant things for you as well as collect things for you. So if we pick it up and ponder on it, you can kind of see that you put them on the end of a contraption, you allow the contraption some motion, and it will automatically replant for you. If there's an inventory attached to this, it will also collect those items for you, which with the last one you saw, there was a reason why we had that. The way we had it was with the chest, so they collect things. Because if theoretically a harvester was ever attached to it, it would collect it. So now to show you the automated mode for this field, because of course I can't do it all by hand constantly. It would be a heavy chore and I would do nothing but farm materials or farm food. So we do have an automated mode for it. And that's what this device is right here. As you can see, it's a little bit bigger because it's a 2-seat. And we'll get to that in just a second. But we got some wheels here. It's nice and cute. We have a harvester in the front so it can collect all the resources for us. And yeah, it just goes on this track line here, which is the secret track line. The track line that went down here and flips right here. Or yeah, flips right here. And then it goes this way to this one. And it goes this way to this one. So if I want to have this in automated mode, I turn this on and this will drive around for me and collect all of these resources. But this is Cottagecore. You kind of want a reason for this to work, right? Well, what if I wasn't the only person in this world? What if I had a little other set of hands to help me out? In this mod pack, I added Straw Golem Rebaled. And Straw Golems are these cute little golems that here, I'll just show you. They're adorable. And we're going to have it sit in the front seat right here, and I'm going to sit in the back seat, and we're going to operate this together. Or he'll operate it for me when, and periodically I'll just come hang out with him whenever I want to be able to do that. So to get that, we're going to do this. They will sit in these seats as long as they are above them when they start. A graphical glitch, don't mind that any. And I'm going to pick these up so he can't leave. I'm going to put them here. And I don't know why the graphical glitch is happening. It's fine. Those blocks are actually there even if you can't see it. Maybe I'll wait for everything to load in. There we go. Okay, I just wanted you to be able to see what was going on. There. Okay. And now you put a hay bale here. And you put a carved pumpkin on top just like you're making a little golem. And... oh! No, you're not supposed to leave. You're supposed to sit in the front seat. I don't know how... It's going to be such a difficulty to move him. Well, eventually I'll get him into the front seat. For now, I guess he can watch me do all the work, I suppose. So we get here in this seat here. We flip the switch. Oh, and I didn't flip this switch. Well, this is awkward. I was supposed to switch the other switch first. We'll get there eventually, I think. And if we don't, I'll pick it up and do it again. Slowly. But surely. I think we're still moving. There's a powered rail. Come on, I know you can do it. We're gonna do it! I should just leave this in so that you all can see the difficulties that I have. I am by no means a professional. Not a professional Minecrafter. Thank you very much. Even though I played this game forever and a day. And by forever and a day, I mean like quite literally for like a long time. I think it stopped moving. Shoot, it stopped moving. Okay, I got it all fixed. Oh, gosh. All right. And, you know, as a bonus, though, he's in the front seat where he's supposed to be. So I don't have to show him what to do. He knows what to do. He didn't need me to be in the front seat. So we flip the rail first. Now this is for this. Take a seat. Put on automated mode. And here we go. And check it out. And the harvester will collect any crops. There's not many that are fully grown, fully developed, and add it to the inventory. And then I still have to add a chest down below for the portable storage interface, the Kissy Kissy, do its thing and deposit the supplies for us. And then we just let this run in the background, arbitrarily collecting crops for us. And this is going to be so helpful because my diet has literally been nothing but bread and chicken nuggets. And there's actually ways of getting more hearts than the starting default hearts in this mod pack. But unfortunately, because of my diet has been so terrible, I haven't any extra hearts, as you can tell. So this is going to be great, having it run in the background. And I just, oh, he's holding a little piece of wheat. Look at them. I have plans for these guys. They're going to be my farm operators. Instead of having villagers over here, I'm just going to have a bunch of straw golems. Now, they do have health, and they do have a need for apples, a desire for apples, if you will. So I have to come up with a few things to help them out. Can we periodically visit the farm myself manually, repair them with a little bit of extra straw, because, you know, it rains, and so on and so forth. And yeah, there's going to be a lot of things that I'm going to have to do to get this farm running. But that's great, because that's what we want. We want to be involved in the process. And them having some sort of, like, natural decay over time is beneficial for us, because it gives us an excuse to come out here. And besides collecting just, taking my wares and leaving, not paying attention to this place, I have to come over here and make sure all the columns are in tip-top shape, that they have the apples that they want, so on and so forth. It's getting really dark. Let's go sleep before mom spawn. And yeah, so that is what is really fantastic about this. So yeah, that is the farm in its currency right now. We're going to build a little structure here next episode to house all of our little inventions and a few other surprises along the way, as well as a windmill on the other side. I'm thinking right over there behind me, we're going to have a windmill that kind of comes up and adds a little bit of extra character. And unlike the one in the village, this will actually be a working windmill. So yeah, I'm excited for that. It's all kind of coming together now that I've gotten through the early game resource grinding. I can actually start making some of the contraptions that I have in mind. Look at him go! Look at him go! He's so happy. He's just like, I don't have to do anything, and I'm just here hanging out. Actually, what he really wants to do is take that wheat and put it in this chest over here. But, you know, look at him. He's so adorable! Oh, he's doing such good work. Anyways, that's all I have for today. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a great one.